If someone were to ask me, if money was no object, which gaming laptop would I get? Well, I feel like that it would be one of these two, because these two computers are literally clinically insane. Hi all, my name is Davis and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things tech. And oh boy, today is a very exciting day because I have partnered with MSI and they've given me the very special opportunity to take two of their most over-spec'd laptops for a test drive. And these two really are quite ludicrous because not only do both of these have the very latest Intel Core Ultra 9 processors, but they also contain the latest NVIDIA GeForce RTX 50 series graphics cards. And both of these represent the ultimate computers that you can get in their respective size classes. First up, we've got the Vector 16 HX AI A2XW. This one has the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5070 Ti laptop graphics card, and 32GB of RAM. And then we've got the absolutely beastly MSI Titan 18 AX AI A2XW with the absolutely insane Intel Ultra 9 285HX with GeForce 5090 laptop graphics and 64GB of RAM. So I'm sure that a lot of you guys already know this, but the reason why these new NVIDIA RTX 50 series cards are so highly anticipated is because of the significantly improved frame generation AI capabilities and GDDR7 memory. And what I'm really excited to see is how well the AI upscaling, the DLSS4 works, which generates new frames in between existing frames for far improved smoothness. With this new generation of DLSS, multiple frames are able to be generated instead of just the one. So hopefully that means that we'll see some absolutely insane frame rates. The GDDR7 memory as well has 40% faster bandwidth compared to the previous generation, which should reduce lag for those AI generated frames as well, and also provide major improvements in things like ray tracing. So where shall we start? I'd say let's start with the Vector 16. So a lot of you guys know, if you are a regular on this channel, is that while I usually use my laptops for content creation like with Adobe Photoshop and Premiere Pro, and while both of these computers would be absolutely insane for that, you might also know that I am a little bit of a racing game nutter. I grew up playing titles like Gran Turismo, Ridge Racer and Test Drive Unlimited, so today we are going to be testing these systems under that particular context. So the Vector 16. Realistically, if I were to buy one of these two computers, this would be the one that I buy. As bar one laptop, every single laptop that I've bought in the past has been in the 15-16 inch range. I think that's sort of the perfect compromise between portability. I mean, you can just drop it in your messenger bag and go to work, and you can game on the train as well on the way home. And however, at home, you do have the power of a desktop replacement computer. So let's have a look at this particular hardware. So last year, or maybe it's 2 years ago now, I had the pleasure of using the Stealth 16 MSI model, and this to me feels like that, except where that was aimed at creative professionals, this definitely is aimed more at gamers. I can definitely see that in the hardware design, as this is, let's just say, a little bit showier. So we can see that this is in the Cosmos grey color. It's quite a striking design, and despite this being one of the most powerful 16-inch laptops that money can buy, it's actually surprisingly light. It weighs just 2.7 kilograms, and as we can see, it's barely over an inch thick. Some of you guys might laugh, but this is actually compact enough to put in my messenger bag without any issues at all. And this means that this is a gaming laptop that you can genuinely take around with you. Like, you actually use it as a portable laptop. You can go to work, you can use it at uni, you can genuinely play your games quite portably with this. And the amount of ports that this has is pretty exemplary. We do have a headphone jack, we've got two USB A 3.2 ports over here, Ethernet full-size HDMI, that's the charging port. And over here, most excitingly, we have two Thunderbolt 5 ports. Now that is very impressive indeed. What is cooler than that though is basically the overall design. I love the fact that you can open the lid with just one finger like so. That's very nice. And I also love just how purposeful and sturdy these hinges look. I mean, look at that. That is never going to break. It looks virtually indestructible. This laptop is very solidly built with a magnesium aluminum alloy chassis. There's no flex and creaks whatsoever. I mean, like, I'm trying to flex that, but it's completely solid. And even the display is very solid indeed. There's not much flex there at all. And just looking at the screen, what a cool display this is. This is a 1600p QHD plus IPS display, a 16:10 aspect ratio, which I love. And while that sounds pretty cool, what is insane about this display is the fact that it is the fastest display that I've ever used on a laptop. This can refresh at a scarcely believable 240 Hertz. Now that is absolutely ridiculous in the best way ever. I've never felt a display quite as smooth as this one. Above the display as well, we do have a full HD camera with a shutter, so you can switch that on and off. And what's really cool with this is that it does have an IR blaster, so it's compatible with Windows Hello. And trust me when I say that is so hard going back to a laptop with no face unlock after getting used to this feature. And I think now we should probably talk about the keyboard, because what an insane looking keyboard this is. While this does have the typical MSI Mystic Light RGB technology, this sort of takes it to the next level, because we've got a highlighted transparent WASD key array over here, which looks especially cool if you ask me, so you know which buttons to hit when you're moving your character about. And we've also got really cool looking arrow keys over here as well. Just have a look at that. Okay, so now let's see what this whole package is like to use. So what's really cool about this laptop is the fact that it's pretty cool. Despite being able to utilize 240 watts of power, 175 of which for the GPU and 65 watts for the CPU, and yes, there is a whopping 330 watt power adapter too, with the Cooler Boost 5 technology with 2 fans and 7 heat pipes. This computer's able to stay pretty cool as well, despite being rather portable in size. Just so that we get these out of the way, these are the performance figures that I got with a number of benchmarks. Just a summary, I got almost 3,000 single core on Geekbench 6, almost 18,000 multi-core, 1655 on Cinebench 24 multi-core, 3567 on the 3D Mark, still no mad score at 35.5 FPS. So that's all really impressive for a laptop of this size. But now let's see what this thing is actually like to use. Okay, so now let's begin with Forza Motorsport. Now this is one of the most challenging racing games that we can play on a PC. It's got things like ray tracing, it's got dynamic weather, and it is fully DLSS4 compatible. So I am actually hoping for some pretty impressive performance. So let's see what we can get. I'm quite looking forward to playing this new update, as I haven't done so yet. Let's race. Free play. Let's go for a Jaguar XKRS, one of the most underrated cars ever, I think. Oh, I can't afford it, I'll rent it. Okay, so let's go through the settings. Display-wise, let's do ultra settings. Native resolution, so that is 1600p. And most importantly, we are going to turn NVIDIA DLSS on, ultra quality. So let's see how that looks. So as we can see, it is absolutely glorious weather. Okay, so we are in ultra settings at 1600p resolution. It's raining like mad, and if we look at the top over there, that's a little bit of carnage. We can see that we are actually exceeding 100 frames a second at times. I think for a 16-inch laptop, that is remarkably impressive. So we just went through Eau Rouge. That was a dreadful racing line. But to be fair, I can barely see. And we are actually above 100 frames a second now that we have cleared most of the traffic. Okay, I was expecting good things from this computer, but I really wasn't expecting 100 frames a second. It feels so smooth. And the fact that I'm playing this in ultra settings is just frankly ridiculous. All right, let's try a bit of interior cam. We can see all of the raindrop effects. They do look quite effective. At blocking my view at least. Okay, so essentially in Forza Motorsport, we can get over 100 frames a second at ultra settings. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. What shall we play next? Okay, and now let's play some F125. I bought this game specifically for this video, so hopefully it plays rather well indeed. We are back at Spa, as you can see, and we are playing as Mr. Where is he? Well, that's supposed to be Max Verstappen. So let's see what graphic settings we can have. We do have a lot. So the preset that it's defaulted on is Ultra Max. So that basically tells you how good this laptop is. How do I turn DLSS off? How do I turn DLSS off? So now that I've finally found the video settings, we've got a resolution of the full 1600p. We can put DLSS on, and then we can see, because this is the latest version, we can choose how many frames it can create. Let's try 4 times because obviously that's the most ambitious. Let's see what we can do. Okay, just remember that this is a 16-inch laptop that's very portable indeed. I am playing the new F1 game at a full 1600p resolution in the maximum settings possible at well over 100 frames a second. Earlier, I tried this out without DLSS on, without the frame generation, and I was only getting around 30 frames a second. So the fact that I am getting over 100 frames a second shows you just how many additional frames we are getting from the AI frame generation. And it feels like real frames to me. These don't feel like fake AI frames. It feels absolutely genuine, and it feels so unbelievably smooth. The fact that we can get this level of performance, you know, Max Verstappen level performance in a laptop this compact, honestly is quite groundbreaking. And yeah, this is really, really nice to play. There's barely any lag. Braking. The difference between 30 frames a second and, you know, over 100, like what I'm getting now, it really is night and day. I feel like that if you just turn down the settings a little bit, you can quite easily reach the 240 frames a second that this display can show. So we can see well over 100 frames a second. The performance is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so as we can see, especially with the new NVIDIA RTX 5070 Ti graphics, the Vector 16 HX AI A2XW is simply an awe-inspiring choice if you are looking for the ultimate portable gaming experience. But what if you want something that's a little bit more of a desktop replacement? Something that you can occasionally take out and about, but the only thing that really matters to you is outright power. Well, let me introduce you to the Titan 18, which is one of the craziest things that you will ever see. And that's because the Titan line represents the ultimate, the absolute ultimate in MSI gaming laptops. And there are so many surprise and delight features here that you will be quite shocked in the very best way. So firstly, let's take a look at the design, and It is absolutely beastly. While the build quality does feel like an absolute brick, as it's also made of a magnesium aluminium chassis with a Thixo molding technology, which means it's very efficient, there's not much waste. It's actually relatively light for this size, shock horror. So I remember having a similarly sized gaming laptop when I was a kid. It was a 17-inch laptop almost 20 years ago now, and that thing weighed 4.8 kilograms. And despite having an entire extra inch in screen size, this thing only weighs 3.6 kilograms, and it's 3.2 centimeters thick. I mean, it's obviously not an MSI Prestige 13, which weighs under a kilogram, but I would say that this 18-inch computer is almost portable. I tried taking this computer out for a day just to see if it was possible, and while it did stick out of my messenger bag a fair bit, it honestly wasn't that bad. The weight wasn't too heavy, and it was definitely something that you could travel with occasionally. I feel like if you've got a very big backpack, you could sort of use this as a work laptop, and you can use it to and from the office. And you can use it for spreadsheets and Microsoft Excel, because I'm sure this 18-inch screen would just be absolutely amazing for that. But obviously that's not the intended use case. So let's have a look around this laptop. So obviously we have, being a gaming laptop, we've got a glowing logo on the lid, which is very lovely indeed. We've got plenty of blue rubber stripes in the detailing, which makes it look very sporty indeed, doesn't it? There's more blue detailing on the bottom, because obviously you need that. In fact, there's actually 4 cooling exhausts that helps with the vapor chamber cooler, and we've got all the ports that you need, including dual Thunderbolt 5, which is over here. We've got a couple of USB-A 3.2 ports over here, and we've also got an SD card reader. So if you want to use this as a video/photo editing device, this will be fantastic at that. But things look even more insane when you open up the lid, because not only is there a giant, absolutely giant light up trackpad over here. I mean, look at that. This is genuinely one of my favorite trackpads that I've ever used. And if we look over here, we've got a SteelSeries Cherry logo. And this means that this laptop comes with Cherry MX Ultra low profile keys. Yep, it's a mechanical keyboard on a laptop, and it sounds and feels absolutely amazing. Now, not all of these keys use these switches, as these ones are just normal switches over here, but all of the main keys do, and it genuinely is one of the best feeling laptop keyboards I have ever used. It genuinely is just amazing. And of course, everything here is RGB as well, so you can make everything whatever color you like. And what's also brilliant with this computer is the display. This genuinely is one of the nicest displays that I've ever seen on a laptop. And that's not only just because of the massive size. So this is a 4K mini LED unit that refreshes at 120 Hz. And now the reason why I love mini LED is the fact that there are local dimming zones. And that means that you can get most of the advantages with an OLED display with the incredible contrast ratio, but also without any of the downsides like burn-in and OLED shutter. This screen also gets terrifically bright at 1000 nits, and it's pretty good at video editing as well, covering 100% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. So that's enough of that. Let me quickly run through what's inside this beast of a computer. So I haven't seen this on a laptop before, but this has 4 PCIe Gen 5 SSD slots. So not only does that mean that the storage is unbelievably quick, but it also means that you can upgrade the drives to have up to 32 terabytes of storage, which sounds clinically insane. So someone please do fact check that for me. In addition to that, while we do have two 32GB DDR5 6400 RAM slots, you can upgrade them to a collective 96GB as well, which is a very large number as well. Just a reminder, we do have the Intel Core Ultra 9 385HX here with up to 8 performance cores that can turbo up to 5.4 GHz. The CPU can consume up to 95 watts of power, and the GPU is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 laptop chip that can consume up to 175 watts of power, and that has 24 GB of GDDR7 memory, and there's a whopping 1824 AI TOPS laptops for all those of you performing local AI tasks on your computer. And collectively, the computer can consume up to 270 watts of power. And have a look at this massive power brick. 400 watts. That's almost half a kilowatt. That is insane. Okay, so the specs of this computer are ridiculous. So let's have a look at the benchmark figures. So CPU-wise, a single core of almost 3000 is really good. But what's more impressive than that is the multi-core score of 21,500, which is by far the most of any laptop that I've used. We got a Cinebench 24 multi-core score of 1811 and a 3D Mark graphics score on the Still Nomad test of 5960 at a biblical 59.6 FPS, which is simply insane. So now let's see what sort of performance we can get with some actual games, shall we? Okay, so now that we are on the Titan 18, let's try out Forza Motorsport. So obviously this is the ultimate laptop experience that you can get. Okay, so we are doing Spa-Francorchamps again. We are in the Jaguar XKR GT and we are in the pouring rain. Let's see what sort of frame rates we get. So we've got ultra settings, so it should be very difficult indeed. And we've got the DLSS on as well. So hopefully that should make it a little bit easier on the computer. And in addition to that, we are also running this at the full 4K resolution. And I think that already we can hear the computer cooling itself down because obviously we are running at the full 200 and something or other watts. Okay, instantly the graphics look absolutely insane. I think the level of detail there is just astonishing. So we can see despite me having everything in ultra settings, we are getting around 90 frames a second. And obviously the resolution here is a lot higher than what we were doing on the Vector 16. Did I pick the wrong track? This isn't Spa. Okay, so now that we are clear of most of the other AI, we can see that we are getting around 100 frames a second, and it feels just so smooth. It's sort of unbelievable that I'm playing this game at full settings on a laptop in over 4K resolution, I should add, and I'm getting this level of performance. I mean, look at those rain effects. It looks so convincing. And get out of my way, Alpha. And we're just playing dodgem cars. Okay, so we can see here that we are getting over 100 frames a second. Just a reminder, we're playing this at over 4K resolution. We've got everything in ultra setting, so that's like the highest level of ray tracing possible. We've got the DLSS on as well, so we are getting the frame generation. Is there a prettier game than this one? I am not sure. Look at those reflections. Look at that ray tracing. Like, you can see the headlights and the reflection of my car in that horrible Dodge in front of me. And then we've got that Camaro. I think this is what heaven must feel like. Gaming on the RTX 5090 laptop chip. That is insane. All right, that is probably enough Forza. Let's see what we can do in F1. So now we are playing F1 25 on the Titan 18. And now I've made sure that this time it actually is Spa. It's not a random track like Barcelona. And let's see what settings we've got it at. Okay, so we are turning frame generation on, and let's put it on 4 times again and see what sort of insane figures we can get. Refresh rate. Oh, actually, we're just limited to 120. We can't do unlimited. We'll just see how it goes. DLSS should now be on. So let's see what sort of performance that we get. Now that we've cleared that particular person, we are getting 100 frames a second. And let's take Eau Rouge. Oh, that's a terrible line, but we did make it safely. it does feel remarkably natural. Like, this just feels like normal, genuine frames. Like, you can't even tell that it's AI generated. It's quite insane. I genuinely don't think that you can get a better F1 experience than this. We've got over 4K resolution, maximum settings for literally everything, and still we are getting around 100 frames a second. Okay, so now that we've managed to change the view to chase cam, which is a very newbie camera, sending carbon fiber flying everywhere, and we can see that we are still getting over 100 frames a second. And let's see what happens when we go past Eau Rouge. Yes. Oh dear, that's a terrible line. But can we chase up to Lando Norris over there? Nope, we got overtaken by Hamilton. That's not good. Brake. Ooh. I am not a fan of chase cam. I can't remember which button it was to change the camera. We give up. All right, so that is what it's like to game on the fastest laptop that money can buy. Okay, so I think that this probably goes without saying, but if you want the ultimate best gaming experience that you could possibly have on your lap, you can't really do better than the MSI Titan 18. The performance and overall experience really is awe-inspiring. Okay, so we've got these two laptops now, and which one would I choose? Obviously, if money were no object, I would probably say the Titan. It's simply the ultimate laptop in every single way. But since I actually like to travel and take my laptop everywhere with me, the Vector 16 still offers amazing performance in a far more portable package. So I would probably go with that one, but still be lusting after the Titan at the same time. So if you are interested at all in either of these laptops or any of the other RTX 50 series laptops that MSI have available, and you want to save as well, until the 30th of June 2025, it's currently the MSI end of financial year sale here in Australia. So you can save hundreds on both of the laptops that we saw today. You can save $800 off your Titan 18 and $300 off your Vector 16. So once again, I would like to thank MSI for helping make this video happen and allowing me to show you guys these amazing laptops. So please check out the website in the bio to save on one of these computers. And until the next video, I wish you a lovely day and toodaloo.